in our Abuja studios now, we've got Kelvin Emmanuel. He's the CEO of Dairy Hills Limited. Kelvin, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, it's all happening everywhere. Rivers, Delta, Kaduna. What have you made so far of what we've been seeing with these results coming in and the those that are complaining about, or rather protesting the results and so on and so forth? What have you made of it all?
Well, thank you, Rotis, for having me. Thank you to everyone in the studio and the guests watching. To be honest with you, I was worried about what happened in Lagos, the violence that happened in Lagos on Saturday, the reports that came out of Rivers State, of Abia State. I'm quite impressed by the way elections were conducted in Oyo State. I mean, the result from Oyo State is a referendum on the governor of Oyo State and his performance. There was no report of violence anywhere in Oyo State. I think Oyo State is a shining light, an example for other states to see on how, especially for the leadership of other states to see on how to lead and how to serve the people. If you serve the people, you don't need to employ violence and thugs to be able to win elections, you know. But I'm quite impressed at some of the results, especially the new governor-elects that are coming on board. I'm particularly happy with Abia State that even if it's not been officially declared, but Dr. Alex Oti is cruising and going on to victory, and Abia State is most likely going to experience some level of economic regeneration and transformation from what we've seen over the last 24 years. With the elections in Kano is also an example because, NNPP, a new party, has won one of the... Kano State, I was checking the numbers, and Kano State, I think, has 1% of Nigeria's total GDP. It has 44 local governments. It has a very large population, and Kano, I think, is the largest commercial nerve center in the north, in northern Nigeria. The elections are very close in Adamawa State. Everyone is hopeful that Aisha Benani wins the elections, not just because she's a flag bearer of the APC in Adamawa State and the sitting governor has not really impressed the people, but also because she's a woman, and a woman winning a governorship election, even if she's not going to be the first woman, sends a serious message about gender equity in Nigeria, especially when you consider the fact that of the 35 bills that were sent, that were passed by the National Assembly and sent to the president for accent, of which he has accented 16 so far. The 5 bills on gender equity and equality was actually struck out by the National Assembly, which was very disappointing, by the way, because in my opinion, I think we need affirmative action for female participation in Nigerian politics. Not just for elected positions, but also for government appointments across the board. So overall, I would say these elections, it's not very encouraging because of the pockets of violence we've seen in several parts of the country and the lives that have been lost for no reason. I don't see why elections should be do or die. I mean, if you're wanting to serve people and lead them, you should be willing to request for their permission to serve them. If they say no, then you step aside for the people that they actually endorse to lead them. So it's very disappointing that in 2023 Nigeria, when we have the kind of economic issues we have, what is bordering political contestants is the principle and concept of do or die. Is either we get it or we die. It's very disappointing, to be honest.
We're just looking at numbers for Kano State's. Kano State's ease of doing business. Kano ranks, okay, this is the metrics for unemployment and underemployment. Okay, I say underemployment 31%, but I think if we skip forward, Kano State ranks 31st out of 36 states for ease of doing business. So here, this is the, okay, let's stay here, for example. Kelvin, I want you to, if you're looking at the screen, Kano State's internally generated, of its total revenue breakdown, Kano State's internally generated revenue is just 27%. FAC, it comes in at 72%. So Kano is disproportionately dependent on revenue from the federation to stay afloat. And also, it is 31st out of 36 states for ease of doing business. So how do you think, I mean, if you get to Abia has one of the worst unemployment numbers in the country. How do these incoming governors or governors who are going to be coming back to office, how do they turn their respective economies around? Because the numbers are just really, really bad.
Rutus, I'll tell you what, it's interesting because Jigawa State, that is very close to Kano, is at 42 billion naira IGR, and that's quite impressive for Jigawa State, considering that Kano is supposed to be the commercial nerve center of Nigeria. But it's important for us to understand that Kano is landlocked, and that a state that has that kind of population and the commercial activity actually needs a seaport. If it doesn't have a seaport, then it needs railways, The president signed, one of the bills he signed into law, it was bill number 33, on moving railways from exclusive legislative lists to concurrent legislative lists. I'm trying to see how the Nigerian Governors Forum is going to work and capitalize on that. But the reality of the matter, Rotus, is that for the next set of governors, 17 of them of the 28 states that are contesting currently are new governors, they need to come together as the Nigerian Governors Forum and look for a way to build not just vertical rail lines. We have vertical rail lines that runs from the south of Nigeria to the north. We need horizontal rail lines that runs across from the southeast to the south-south and the southwest, because the reality, Rotus, is that the cost of transportation is high, especially when you consider the 300% hike in the price of diesel, and it's very difficult for people to move cargo around Nigeria. So I'm quite interested also on how the case at the Supreme Court between the states and the FIRS is going to go on the collection of value-added tax and personal income tax. I'm quite interested in how that is going to turn out, for how it will contribute to increasing the IGR of state governments to be able to cater to their budgetary needs, But going forward, in the after the dust settles and then they get their return certificates and they are sworn in on the 29th of May, I'm curious to see how the governors will band together in the Nigerian Governors Forum and take advantage of the new bills in the fifth alteration for constitutional amendments that were signed as a means to increasing the IGR. I also think it's very important that at this point in time, the next president of Nigeria actually brings back to the table the issue of restructuring. And when I say the issue of restructuring, we need to understand that for the states to make progress, for them to increase their IGR, depend less on federal allocation, for them to be able to reduce the amount of debts they borrow in order to be able to meet up with the deficits in their budgets, they need to actually raise more revenues from the states. So I'm curious to see how the federal government will change the principles of derivation. Currently, the principles of derivation are landmass, equity of states. You have principles of derivation. Derivation. You have IGR, and then you have population. And one of the reasons why the Nigerian Population Commission (NPC) is scheduled to do a new census in 2000 in May is so that you can get the right numbers to help guide in economic decision making in Nigeria. I think it's important for us to move away from the 5 principles of derivation and change to just IGR and derivation, because you have a situation where, for example, Lagos, that has the smallest landmass of 30,577 square kilometers, has the highest IGR at 546 billion naira. It has a FAC allocation of 193 billion naira. But then you have a state like Niger State, for example, that has it has the landmass in Niger State is more than 70,000 square kilometers, if I'm not mistaken. Its IGR in Niger State is less than 10 billion naira on a yearly basis. You see the disconnect. So it's almost like the higher the landmass or the bigger the landmass of the states, the smaller the IGR. We need to change and allow the states to control their resources. One of the things I was expecting in this fifth alteration for constitutional amendment is for the National Assembly to actually put bill number 39, article number 39 in the exclusive legislative list and separate solid minerals away from oil, petroleum, petrochemicals, and natural gas. So the states can control their resources. And a good example I like giving, Rotus, is the example of Osun State. Osun State owes 407 billion naira. It has an irrevocable standing payment order, ISPO, on its FAC account of 1.8 billion naira monthly, right? And you have a state that has about 3 million ounces of gold. So explain to me how Osun has that much gold and then is sitting on such a large pile of debt and is having those monies debited from its FAC account. If you give the states the power to explore their natural solid minerals according to the framework that was designed by the Ministry of Mines and Steel and Solid Minerals, you see that the states will come alive in terms of doing PPP, public-private partnerships, and doing co-investor sales to take advantage of their resources.
The economics of it. Let's bring the conversation back to politics. And let's take a look at Lagos State, where the Independent National Electoral Commission has declared the Lagos State governor and candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, winner of the governorship election held in the state over the weekend, with a poll of 762,134 to defeat the Labour candidate, Gbadebo Rhodes Vivo, who came second with a poll of 312,329, and followed by Aziz Adideran of People's Democratic Party, who polled 62,449 in the third position.
APM, total votes 884. 884. APP, total votes 259. 259. LP, total votes received 312,329. NNPP, total votes received 1583. NRM, total votes received 340. 340. PDP, total votes received 62449. 62449. SDP, total votes received 1746. YPP, total votes received 461. 461. ZLP, total votes received 1635. 1635. I declare that Sanwo-Olu Babajide Olushola of APC, having satisfied the requirements of the law by scoring 25% in 2/3 of the local government areas in the state, and also having the highest number of votes cast, and meeting the requirements of the law, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected. Signed by Professor Adenike Oladiji. This is the 20th day of March 2023.
Well, in his victory speech at the Lagos House Marina, the governor-elect Babajide Sanwo-Olu ascribed the victory to his administration's development agenda, while also promising to deliver more dividends of democracy to all the residents of the state.
I want to first express my profound gratitude to all Lagosians, all of you in large numbers, that have come out to affirm that once again, Lagos has chosen competence and experience on our march to greatness. like you did 4 years ago, while we're giving a delivery speech. We know that we have a great responsibility for all of our citizens, and that you have been confirmed again today. We know that Lagos has worked for most of you. Our commitment is that Lagos will further work for all of us. Femi and I will be committed to ensure that all of our promises, all of the things that we have said, we will make it happen. The ones that we have started, we'll make sure that we complete them, and the new ones that were promised, we'll do them. But I think first is to thank Almighty God, who has kept all of us, up until this moment, for sparing our lives, for making it possible for each and every one of you, all of you good people of Lagos, to see today. And you have all voted from yesterday, day before yesterday, up until this moment. I want to thank you, and I think the thanks goes to Almighty God. You know too well that we're a vibrant people. We are the center of commerce. We are the center of finance. We are the entrepreneurial capital of our country. We are the commercial nerve center of our country. And for over decades, Lagos has continued to remain home to several businesses and enterprises. I want to thank all of our supporters, irrespective of what part of the divide you are, irrespective of whoever you had voted for. I want to thank all of you from the depth of our hearts. Many of you did not even know us. You don't know me personally, but you all came out to express this show of love. You all came out to express your constitutional responsibility, and at the end of it, both myself and my brother, Dr. Femi Hamzat, have been re-elected to run this interesting city and state of ours called Lagos State. I'm indeed very grateful and happy with our party, the All Progressive Congress, the party of choice, the party that continues to remain the hope for a lot of Nigerians, the biggest party in Africa. I want to thank the leadership of our party for keeping the progressive minds alight. I also want to thank our president-elect, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the man who kickstarts the journey of a modern Lagos. And we're indeed happy and excited that both Lagos and himself will now be on the same journey at achieving the Nigeria and the Lagos journey together. Mr. President-elect, thank you very much. We wish you the very best in your new assignment. To our leader, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, we want to thank you. We want to thank you for promising us that you are committed to living a fair, just, and equitable country. This electoral process have shown, the outcomes of it have shown that you are a man that has continued to reflect fairness. And we believe that what you have done in this election, prosperity, will judge you well on this. You have been fair, you have been equitable, you have been just to everyone. I want to also thank my family, my dear wife, she's here, the wife of my deputy, they're here. We want to thank you very much. We cannot do it without all of the support that you continue to give Femi and I. To all of our fellow contestants, we want to salute you for participating in the democratic process. But Lagosians have spoken, and they have spoken well. They have spoken loud. Please remember that we're extending a hand of fellowship to you. No victor, no vanquish, in the true spirit of sportsmanship. If you indeed believe that you want to serve this city, you want to serve this state, you have an opportunity with us. And we will open our doors to listen and to give you a space in this government.
All right, this is our continued coverage of Nigeria Decides 2023. Of course, looking at the gubernatorial election results that have been announced so far from a number of states, as well as the State House of Assembly. We still have, of course, Mr. Oborevwori, of course, who is still with us in the studio, and Kelvin Emmanuel. You've heard, of course, from the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, in his speech there, victory speech, where he addressed a number of issues. And, of course, we have the economic metrics of Lagos State. Mr. Oborevwori, yes, this is, I mean, it's the largest economy, in the state economy in state, and probably fifth in Africa. What does Mr. Sanwo-Olu do, Governor Sanwo-Olu, going forward over the next 4 years to keep Lagos State more prosperous? So as you can see there, 37% unemployment. That's higher than the nation at 33%. So what's your sense of the path he charts going forward for Lagos?
Well, Lagos is the commercial capital of Nigeria. It's yes. The economic heartthrob of this country. Rural urban migration ends in Lagos. Get me? So Lagos feeds more mouth than any other state in the federation. But it has, in the past, tried to raise revenue to look after everybody. But that revenue drive, get me, has created some problems for the state in terms of double taxation. And that was part of why you had the president-elect losing in Lagos. If you see the way Sanwo-Olu is jubilating now, it's as if Lagos has recovered from an invasion from some forces from outer space. But you see, he did a wonderful job. After APC lost the presidential election in Lagos, everybody went into the field to urge people to come and vote. And you see, one in all the local governments, except my own, Abu Odofi. You get me? But one in all the local government. And he has a lot of, you see, developmental projects going on. You get me? Some of them have caused traffic go slow and things like that, and they have generated some hostile reactions. But people know that when these projects, when they come on board, life will be easier for people. So he has the support of the people of Lagos, and I wish him the very best.
Sorry,
okay.
Mr. Shibali, go
I
on.
wanted to go to Oyo State.
Oh, no, we will go to Oyo State,
so
but I'm keen on
we still have Kelvin in the Abuja studio. Kelvin, do you want to take your thoughts on what we've seen with the Lagos State metrics as far as where the governor goes forward in terms of the economy of Lagos? Kelvin.
Thank you very much. Before I comment on that, I will just say very clearly that the elections in Lagos was not free or fair, in my opinion, and that questions the legitimacy of the elections in Lagos. But, that is left for the opposition parties to seek redress whichever way they deem necessary. When you look at the economy of Lagos, the GDP of Lagos is 41 trillion naira, which is 10% of Nigeria's GDP. Population of Lagos is 22 million, which is 10% of Nigeria's population. It has the smallest landmass. They have 3 seaports. The 4th one is in the works, Badagry Seaport. It is my view, and this is something I've always said, that it's important for the next president to divert maritime away from the western flank to the eastern flank. Lagos does not have the land mass to accommodate an increased surge in seaport operations that will only bring in more people into the economy. Divert to Cross River, fast-track the development of the Ibaka Deep Seaport in Akwa Ibom, recategorize the port categorization for the Onne seaports from E and P. You know, Lagos has potential, but it has existential issues. You know, you have a Lekki toll gate, for example, and you know, when that toll gate was going to be built, they said they were going to use the proceeds from that toll gate to develop the Lekki-Ekpe Expressway and surrounding infrastructure all the way to Ibeju. But how many years down the line, hundreds of billions of dollars collected in toll fares, you can't see that development on the ground. So, you know, as we celebrate collection of IGR, you have an IGR to FAC allocation ratio of about 75 to 26%, which is one of the highest in Nigeria. And by the way, Lagos State, the collections Lagos State does is equivalent to 26 states in Nigeria. So when officials from Lagos State government say, oh, why are you always on Lagos? Yeah, the reason why people are always on Lagos is because the size of the Lagos economy is equivalent to the size of 26 Nigerian states. That's why they're always on Lagos. To whom more is given, more is expected. So the governor needs to come out. Number one, he talked about transparency in his acceptance speech. He needs to come out, open the finances of Lagos State to the public to be able to see what their taxpayers' monies are used for. Number two, he needs to really invest in infrastructure. They say they've built 30,000 kilometers of road. I can't see the 30,000 kilometers of road in Lagos. Okay, you have a serious education deficit in Lagos, right? You have a serious unemployment problem in Lagos, 37%, which is higher than national average at 33%. Yeah, you have underemployment at 5.3%. The governor has his work cut out for him. He has the work of moving transportation away from roads to rail to water. Okay, he has the work of building the Fourth Mainland Bridge to divert traffic, especially when you consider the fact that the Lekki Deep Seaport just came on stream and Dangote Refinery is coming on Q3 of 2023. And that's going to put more pressure on traffic because Lagos has a single carriageway. So, you know, when you have people saying that Lagos is a model state, I wonder what they are talking about, because Lagos is, according to World Index, Lagos actually has the second worst living standards in the world as a state. So these are issues that the governor should stop listening to praise singers and wake up to face the music. He's not doing well. He's saying that they've done well, they've built rail. The rail is not working. I was in Lagos last month and I didn't see a functional rail system. You know, so he has an issue with transportation. He has an issue with security because the amount of thugs and area boys that are building up in Lagos is a source for concern and worry for every Lagosian. You know, he has an issue with ensuring that he educates the people. He has a lot of work to do in Lagos. So to be honest with you, when people praise Lagos and say Lagos is a model state, the numbers does not show that it's a model state. In this year's budget, they say they are going to do 1.7 trillion. Yeah, they have a foreign debt ratio of about $1.3 billion. I frankly do not see the reason why there's a budget deficit of over 300 billion in the 2023 budget for the Lagos State government. This is why I'm calling on the governor to, in line with his promise to be transparent, open the books of the states for the Lagosians to see how their taxpayers' monies are being spent.
We still have with us Arise analyst Mr. Oborevwori, who's with us in studio. Referring to what the governor-elect, said during his speech, he had similar undertones, of what we heard from the president-elect, somewhat being welcoming with looking to collaborate with almost anyone who would be looking to work with them. What did that? How did that resonate with you? And if you'd also
I'm shocked at what I heard from the last speaker. Because I live in Lagos. Okay. I live along the Badagry axis, and you need to see the level of development going there. Road infrastructure, train, something, transportation. You get me? Both for in the city and outside the city. So I'm shocked that he can say that Lagos is not performing. I disagree with that. But I'm not surprised because he said the election in Lagos was not free and fair. I quarrel with that. I think the election was free and fair, and the governor was legitimately elected based on what he has done before, and for him to continue where he has left off. You get me? I'm not a citizen of Lagos, but I was born in Lagos, and I've seen development, and I'm proud of what this governor has done so far, and it's been reduced. This is the duty of the electorate, not opinion molders. It's the duty of the electorate to punish leaders at the polls if they don't perform, and to reward them with re-election if they perform, which they have amply done with this governor, and I'm happy with the result.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Well, we'd just like to thank Kelvin Emmanuel for joining us from our Abuja studio. Thank you so much for your time and your insights. You certainly did broaden our minds with regards to the economic tasks that these incoming governors are faced with. Thank you for that. And, well, that brings us to the end of the first segment of today's Nigeria Decides 2023 Governorship and State Houses of Assembly elections coverage here on Arise News Channel. We show special appreciation to our distinguished guests and analysts and everyone that worked behind the scenes to make it happen. I'm Bambai Mutiniri Ekweong.
I'm Cynthia Are.
I'm actually Rotis Odiri, not Cynthia. I've been quite a journey, and we continue to track developments as from across the country. Rest assured that the Arise News Channel is doubly encouraged to put you, beloved citizens of Nigeria, at the forefront of all our operations, irrespective of tribe, creed, or religion.